Scott Thomas here from Fishing World Magazine. I'm here in Coffs Harbour at Fishing Tackle Australia with Ian Rowe. How you going, Ian?
Not too bad, mate.
We're here today talking about jig heads with a range of soft plastics, the large range of soft plastics that are available these days. Comes a large range of jig heads, and it can be quite confusing for people who are just getting into the sport. So we've got a range here to show. Can you maybe just explain, starting with these elevator jig heads, what they're all about?
Okay, so basically your elevator jig heads come in a range of sizes and weights, and basically what you're using them for is more your deep water plastics fishing, and what you'll use your elevator rig for is when you maybe want to in a bit more current and stuff like that. So you'll run a dropper off the bottom and then run your plastic a bit higher, and what that does, it just helps in those, when there's a bit more current, just to get that plastic down a bit further.
Right, okay.
Okay.
Now what about these? It's just a pretty standard sort of jig head that you'd use maybe for snapper with a big gulp, for instance.
That's correct. So we rig these with generally our larger 7-inch plastics, your squidgy flick baits and stuff like that. Mainly used in sort of your shallower sort of reefs around, say like in here at Coffs. We get a lot of snapper in close, so we generally use them in the shallower sort of stuff where you'd use your elevator rig in the deeper. But also when we're spinning off the rocks for dew and stuff like that, we also use your TTs in, say, your 3/4 up to a ½ an ounce, just to get your jig head down and stuff like that.
Right,
so, and just also when you are rigging the plastic and stuff like that, just making sure that your jig head's nice and straight, with a lot of hook exposure, especially for those larger fish like your dew and your snapper.
Now this is something a little bit different. Resin heads, can you explain what they are?
Your resin heads are made out of like a plastic material. Okay, so if you did want a bit more of a flutter on the drop,
so more of a lightweight jig head.
More of a lightweight jig head. So they come in the larger ranges like this, and you use them right down to sort of your brim and stuff like that when you want to go surface luring and stuff like that. So they're just a better option when there's maybe not as much current around, and you just like that nice flutter down to the bottom. Great.
Now some of the other ones we have here are the weedless ones. I'm guessing these would be great in some of your bass water where there's a lot of weed around.
Yep, it's especially good in, say, dams and stuff like that, where there is a large amount of weed in. So generally when those bass are holding down just off those weed beds, you like to get your lure in there, and that just helps prevent your snagging up and stuff like that. But they are a fantastic option. Also used in the larger sizes with your frogs and stuff like that. So when the boys up north are running them across the top of the water for your barra and stuff like that, getting that reaction strike, they're also a good option. And they do actually come without the weight in the middle, and then they will come with the weight. So if you just need to get down to those weed beds as well.
And you were telling us before just how effective on your local bass water these Beetle Spin type lures are. You've got this rigged up with a slider grub.
That's correct. And the Todd's jig spinners, which come in a range of sizes down from your 0 size, which is a nice small one. So if you were to use, say, your squidgy bug on that, and then ranging up to, say, your sliders and stuff. So it's just a very good cost-effective way of going bass fishing. And you're not scared to throw your lure up into those nasty snags where the bass are hiding.
Excellent. And you've got one here that you can show us how to rig this.
So basically it's just like all your other, as you would, with your other plastics, just making sure that you're rigging them nice and straight. So depending whether you want the paddle tail up or down, there's no real preference, but whatever tickles your fancy. So just go straight in the middle and just feeding down. Bringing them up to the desired location, making sure that your slider as well is nice and straight. So if it's clumped up or anything like that, it's going to look unnatural to the fish. So you just want to make sure you're getting that nice beat of the tail and making sure that the plastic's rigged correctly. Then you just grab your Beetle Spin here. So you just want your Beetle Spin on the top, and then your plastic down the bottom like that, the same as a spinnerbait. And you just feed your jig head on, just clip him on like that, making sure again that your blade's up the top, and then your line will actually come down and feed onto that. Okay, so you just tie him off there, and away you go.
Looks like a great lure.
It is.
Great, thanks for your time, man.
No worries.